Yeah! Here we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
I could do a whole 49ers show right now.
Ready to rock out with my gavel out.
Oh yeah, baby! Don't sleep on my Patriots, you know.
And we're ready for football. Is that
Joe Burrow with this wrist? I'm curious.
I find you guilty of all charges.
and although you assisted force in this one,
He's developed some really great chemistry.
DJ Chuck Bass.
This guy has been doing it ever since coming off.
I hope you like the way I pimped
He's
you out.
4 targets in all 3 of the classes.
Game for the touchdown this year.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and you're waking up with TSS Fantasy.
Yeah!
It's wild card weekend. Let's get things started. I know I'm super pumped. No, I'm not, because my team's not involved. I'm not going to lie.
Greg's pretty pumped. His second favorite team is on there.
Yeah, there you go.
They got a chance. They got a
Greg
chance.
at least got someone in the fight for us, at least. So there we go. We'll all be Commanders fans today for Greg. All right, well, let's get things started, of course. Let's get the introductions going. Welcome to studio, Justin Jesus Herrera. Welcome in, my friend.
It's all about making money now because there's nothing left to do other than place bets because your team ain't in it anymore. I'll still rep my team, but yeah. It's time to start thinking about the draft, everybody. I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Follow me on Twitter because I'm posting mock drafts for every team.
Nice. And we're going to obviously do a little stuff during this, the off season, talk about the draft. So make sure you stick and stay with us. Also, welcome into the studio, Greg OJ, the Juice is Loose Mayor. Welcome in, my friend.
Good morning, and let's go Commanders, baby. Let's go. Let's go Jaden Daniels, baby. Hey, Justin, I want to ask you how you feel about Robert Saleh maybe returning to the Niners.
I hate it. Because I'll only say this. I'll get off of it because I can go literally on a rant about it. I hate it because it means that the wide 9 stays and we don't have the talent to keep the wide 9 going. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get somebody in there that knows how to blitz well, that knows how to disguise his blitzes, that knows how to kind of put in man coverage and everything. And I hope that Kyle Shanahan just opens his doors and says, everybody come interview. I'm going to get the best guy out there because we're not going to win a Super Bowl until we can disguise our cover 3 and we can put in some blitzes that will actually affect guys like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we had a talk Wednesday. Me and Ben Troop do a little show called No Winnings in the Fall, and we discussed coaching firings and what was justified, what not. And so, I know Robert Saleh is kind of a past firing, but he was the name I brought up, which I thought it was funny how the Jets defense went from one of the best while he was there to one of the worst after they fired him. So it just goes to show you it doesn't make a lot of sense to fire a coach during the season. Who knows what could have happened? The AFC was a little chaotic, if you will, and maybe once Aaron Rodgers started to click a little bit with that defense, maybe they could have at least competed anyway. So regardless of all that,
hey, I'm shocked because he's even getting interviewed for the Jacksonville job, and I'm like, dang, Saleh, okay.
Yeah. He's going to get interviewed. He's a good coach. I think the biggest problem is the Jets fired him after 2-4. You're like
5 games, 2-3, and they fired him.
That's even worse. It's like, dude, your season just started and you just decided to fire this guy.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me. Again, whatever was going on between him and Aaron Rodgers, whatever, who cares? You stick with the guy who's brought you just brought Aaron Rodgers in. I don't know. To me, it just didn't make a lot of sense. All right, well, let's pay the bills too. I forgot to do that. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid, hit subscribe, hit like, put your comments in. If you got any daily fantasy questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Little things stopping you from doing it, big things popping for us when you do, of course, so we appreciate you. Also, don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy if you want to play some daily stuff. Use the promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100. And if you're wondering what to get your champion in your fantasy league, go to Pro Am Belts. Got a lot of great stuff there. There's nobody better. I mean, we do a lot of stuff with them. Every time I show my belts, we were like, wow, where'd you get that? It's from Pro Am Belts. So make sure you check that out. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get things started this morning. I thought Brian was coming, but maybe he forgot it was Saturday and not Sunday. So we're going to go to the weather, and hopefully Brian makes it in at some point. So let's talk about today and Sunday and Monday's weather.
It's time for the weather report.
All righty. Well, I can tell you in LA, it's smoky. No, bad joke there, but just they'll be in the dome and moving that to Arizona, actually. So just make sure to point that out. But either way, on Monday, there'll be no weather affected for the Vikings, Rams. Chargers at Texans also in the dome, so no big deal on that one as well. Steelers at Ravens, it's 29 degrees, clear skies, and the winds are at 9 miles an hour. Broncos at Bills, 27 degrees, mostly cloudy, winds were at 6 miles an hour. I will say earlier in the week, they were calling for possible snow, so maybe that will come to fruition, I guess, if you will. I like seeing those snowy games during the playoffs. It's always fun. Packers at Eagles, 38 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and winds are at 3 miles an hour. And Commanders at Bucks, it's 57 degrees. Chance of rain in this one. This is the only one that looks like you have a little bit of weather, but the winds are only at 2 miles an hour. So it looks like we got some good football weather, if you will. So won't have a lot of elements messing with the games too much. All right. Well, since we still don't have Brian in,
I got an injury pop up right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We talk about it. So major players. I'm just going to go by game. We're going to start with the Saturday slate. We're going to go with the Chargers, Texans. It looks like Josh Palmer is out with a foot injury. We have J.K. Dobbins questionable with an ankle injury, and Quentin Johnston questionable with illness/thigh injury. On the Texans side, I'm only going to say this because it's going to be one of those things that's kind of going to affect C.J. Stroud, Shaq Mason out with a knee injury. John Mechie is out he's not out with a shoulder injury. They're calling it questionable right now. He's kind of come on, especially with the injury to Tank Dell. So we'll see if him or Deontay Johnson are able to step out there today. For the Steelers, it's really nobody of note that's out. They have this wide receiver that hasn't stepped on the field that's out, but like I said, nobody of note. The Ravens, Zay Flowers is huge today. You're going to want to find a substitute for Zay Flowers. He is out with a knee injury. It was a stupid injury, and John Harbaugh should be ashamed of himself for putting him out there after they're blowing the brakes off of the Browns. For the Broncos, we have tackle Frank Crum. He's out with an illness. And then for the Bills, it's nobody really. I mean, how could the Bills get more hurt at this point? And then you've got Christian Watson with the unfortunate knee injury. I believe it was an MCL or an ACL, and it was just that was tough to watch. And then you've got on the Eagles side, we have great news. Jalen Hurts passed his protocol for concussion. He is going to be playing. And then let's get to the Commanders, Buccaneers, the main show, the one we've been wanting to hear about. It looks like Jamison Crowder is injured. He's questionable with a hamstring injury, but he's been playing well, so hopefully he gets on the field. On the Bucs side, we will not see Troy Hill, which is a corner for them. Jamel Dean is going to be going. Cade Otton is looking like he's going to be going as well. He has a knee injury, but he's questionable. I imagine it's playoff time. You suit up after that. Now, Antoine Winfield is also questionable. I only put those up there because we've seen the secondary be absolutely decimated, and hearing that they're coming back might change some of your opinions on what you're going to play DFS-wise, I'm helping out the fans. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the fans.
I don't know. It's kind of hard, Once you get burned so many times, it's kind of hard to come back to it. But yeah, I feel you on that. Justin, thank you so on the fly, bro. Appreciate that. Filling in like that. It was like nothing. Love it. All right. Well, with that said, let's take a quick break from our friends from NeuroGuard. When we get back, we got some ultimate DFS lineups.
Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouth guard that does more than protect. it enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouth guard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILP Sports for 10% discount on your purchase.
All right, let's get to it. Make some. Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I just wanted to throw in one last thing. I didn't get to the Minnesota Rams game because I hadn't found a new updated one because they moved it to Monday night, obviously. I found it, and the only two names are Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold. Two big names, both have quad injuries. Sam Darnold logged a full practice. Aaron Jones was limited all week long. Aaron Jones is the only one I'd be worried about because Cam Akers did have a decent outing when he came in. So it could be something where if you're playing DFS, you might not want to have Aaron Jones in your lineup just because of his quad injury. But other than that, they both look like they'll probably play.
Great, because I'm about to tell everybody to start him today. So let's get to our opener.
I think he's in my lineup.
The power of the Ultimate Warrior.
All right, let's get to the close of last week and I guess the regular season. Let's first look at our bum of the week, and I'm glad I never changed that logo because Greg, you are back in the bottom.
Is that worse than last week?
I think it was actually Sam Darnold, although I can't talk too much crap, as I'll show you in a minute, because he disappointed me as well. JSN, Gainwell, Jaguars D just didn't come through for you. You did have some bright spots with McLaurin and Brian Thomas Jr., but unfortunately for this week, he is out indeed. Like I said, I can't talk too much junk. I didn't even get over 100 myself last week. Sam Darnold obviously did it for me. And then my little Noah Gray, which thank you, Fantasy Jesus, for nothing. 0.7 is what I got there. Jordan Addison with 1. Hawkinson, 2.9. Very disappointing. Obviously, I put it all in on that Minnesota game. And put a lot in on Minnesota, and even Tim Patrick for the Lions didn't do shit. So not a good outing for me at all. Our regular season champion, he comes in the middle ground this week. Bo Nix, obviously 134 points, so it's pretty damn impressive. Like I said, Bo Nix had a good week. Got the combo of Cortland Sutton, so that did well for him. Breece Hall had a good game against America's team. So good outing for LeDuc. Wasn't enough, though. And Freddie coming in at number 2 this week with 143.4. He had Bo Nix as well. Even the Butts, Booty, he had a good day. And it was funny when he had said it because he's like, yeah, because who else do they got in New England?
Right.
Well, that proved to be true. Marvin Harrison Jr. Closed out the season with a nice game. Unfortunately, Panthers D put him back 1 point, but it didn't matter because look who's closing the season strong. 164 points. Had a nice play there with Dobbs, DJ Moore, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, everybody went off except for, of course, no. But it is right. So for the end of the regular season, Justin is our champion.
And his name is John C.
So good job, Justin. You are up first as always. Tell us about your wild card DFS lineup.
Well, let's see if I can push my luck into the playoffs and take the crown away from Leduki. Let's start it off. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. I'm going to stick with my boy OJ's favorite player out there. Jaden Daniels is becoming my favorite player really quickly, too. They had a first meeting. Bucks beat him. I don't think that's going to be the case in this one. I think that Jaden Daniels is going to have a much bigger presence in this game. J.K. Dobbins against the Houston defense. Houston's been really falling apart quick, and the Chargers are really starting to look nice. Like, this is looking like a team that could make a solid run through the playoffs. It's going to be on the back of J.K. Dobbins on the arm of Justin Herbert. Aaron Jones, just talked about him with the quad injury. I didn't know this early on. That's why I made these picks early on. But I'll still go with Aaron Jones because it's the Rams. The Rams are not that great on rushing defense. It's going to be an away game for everybody. I think that this is the type of game that Aaron Jones shines in. Terry McLaurin, I just love the connection between him and McDaniels. I think that this gets hot. The first week, it wasn't there, but it's definitely come on. And as of last week, you saw that he had 20 points. I like this duo to do some damage today. Puka Nacua, that's where my big money was spent, and it's for good reason. Ever since he played Minnesota the first time around, he had 22 points coming off of an injury. He has done nothing but tear through the NFL since. I love the play. Rashad Bateman coming in. Zay Flowers is out. They need a new number one. Rashad Bateman plugs in real quick. Dontavian Wicks. This is kind of the real like coin toss because this guy will get 7 targets. You just don't know what he'll do with 7 targets. So if he does great with 7 targets, then you're looking at possibly like 20, 25 points. If he does shit with them, you're probably looking at like 4. So I'm going to flip that coin with 4,500, and I like the matchup against the Eagles. He's going to be playing the number 2 or number 3 corner. Isaiah Likely, he's had 2 great games against Pittsburgh this year, and now with no Zay Flowers, look for him to get more targets as well. And then follow it up. Like I said, I like the Chargers against Houston. So Chargers defense, I think, can stifle C.J. Stroud today.
I like ye. Not a ton to choose from, obviously. So good job with this lineup. Let's look at Fred's lineup. He went with good old Baker, good old reliable, we could just call him. Got the nice stack with Mike Evans in there, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed in there as well. Jaylen Warren, that to me was a bit of a surprise, but maybe it was just more of a cost-effective play for him. Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson doing the double tight end combo. So not too bad of a lineup indeed. Let's look at LeDuc with Justin Herbert. Guess he agrees with you with the Chargers. Got the stack with McConkey. Going with Rashad Bateman and Zacchaeus as well. He's got Cooper Kupp in his flex this week. Isaiah Likely was a good play at tight end because he does come in so cheap. He does go with Bucky Irving and James Cook as well. So that is LeDuc's ultimate DFS lineup. Here is my lineup. Obviously, all these going to kind of look somewhat similar. We don't have a lot to choose from. But I went with Jaden Daniels as well, going against Tampa. Again, they've been 28th against QBs, so I still like the play. It's still Jaden Daniels going to get it done on the ground, too, for you, so you got to like that. I also went with Aaron Jones as well. Did not know about the little quad thing. However, he does have all the way till Monday to rest, so I still like it and like the matchup. They're 13th, though, Rams against fantasy running backs, but I think they'll get on the ground a little bit in this one, so I like Aaron Jones. What would Jaleel McLaughlin, even though you can't really tell who the hell the Broncos running back's going to be, but he was the hot guy last week, hoping that they ride him again today because Buffalo still 29th against fantasy running backs, so I think it's a good play no matter what. Cooper Kupp I threw in there. We know Minnesota secondary still dead last in the league against receivers, so like that play. Also went with Bateman for obvious reasons with Flowers out. Terry McLaurin's a good play today. As I said, got to get the stack with Jaden Daniels. Went with Goddard at tight end. They were feeding him last week coming off the injury. I was a little nervous about him coming back, but they were certainly feeding him last week right off the grip. So you got to like that there against Green Bay. Went with George Pickens. We know Ravens secondary has been gotten this year, so I kind of like him to make a couple big plays today at the very least. So 28 Baltimore is against fantasy receivers, so I like that play. They went with Chargers D. They've been one of the hotter Ds coming into the end of the season. Texans have struggled a bit offensively this year and 21st overall in the league, so I think they're a decent play. All right, Greg, tell us about your ultimate DFS lineup.
I mean, it's so much similar to like everyone else. Of course, remember Jalen Daniels, homer pick right there. I like J.K. Dobbins against Houston, the Texans defense. I went with Bucky Irvin because I think that Commanders game with the Bucs is going to be a shootout because both defenses are not the best. And Bucky Irvin has been showing that he's becoming a little superstar over there in Tampa. So definitely with Bucky Irvin. Rashard Bateman, Zay Flowers. And Rashard has not had a bad season. I think he had 8 TDs this season. So him stepping in as the number one won't be, something out of the ordinary for Baltimore. I like McConkey against, Houston's defense there. And McConkey's been showing up. He's showing that connection with Herbert. Of course, I went with the stack with Jaden Daniels. I went with Amari Cooper at the flex. I know since he's been in Buffalo, it hasn't been the greatest, but it's playoff time, right? This is what we bought. This is what Buffalo bought Amari Cooper in for, right? To be that number one for Josh Allen. So I think he shows up a little bit. I know it's a tough defense, but I think he shows up and falls into the end zone maybe once. And I like Tucker Kraft against Philly. He's been showing up for Jordan Love there. So I like Tucker Kraft. And I went with the Broncos defense. I think this game is going to be a tougher game than a lot of people think for Buffalo because Broncos defense has been showing up majority of the season. So I think it's going to be a tight one. And I think the Broncos defense do well against Buffalo.
I like it. It's going to be very interesting in DFS today. Wouldn't sweat, like I said, don't really sweat the matchups too much, during the wild card round. They're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink today. So it's win or go home. So if you got a player you like, put him in there. Do it. All right, let's take a quick break because our boy, Andrew LeDuc, brought us some sophisticated DFS starts this week. So let's check it out.
What's up, my classy constituents? It's now NFL playoff time. We got Wild Card Weekend this weekend. So I know the fantasy playoffs are done. They're long in the past. Or who didn't win doesn't matter. Anyways, but DFS, you can still play lots of fun, different games. So let's get some starts that can help you this weekend. And let's start with Olamide Zaccheaus over in Washington. He's had 5 targets at least in the last 3 games. He's really picked it up and become a part of that offense. So I like Zaccheaus in that game, where I think it's going to be a nice back and forth game. I think we got a good one on tap there. And then as well, in Baltimore, Rashad Bateman. With Zay Flowers out, Rashad Bateman has shown us what a healthy Rashad Bateman can do finally after years of waiting for it. So give me all the Rashad Bateman. He's going to be a popular play in DFS, so I would say be aware of the ownership, but I still like Bateman to turn out for you in your DFS lineups. And then on the other side, the more expensive option, James Cook. He's just going to continue to be a beast for that Bills team, especially with some time off last week. I know he got in a couple snaps because they were trying to get him the touchdown record in Buffalo against New England, but he had some rest in that game. He's going to be a full go. He's going to be great. He's going to help the Bills move on to the next round. So that's James Cook, Olamide Zaccheaus, and Rashad Bateman for your classy starts of the weekend as always, as you should too. Stay classy, friends.
Damn, that's a cold-ass honky.
If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him.
Indeed. Well, unfortunately, I think Eric and Brian both got their alarm clock set incorrectly for Sunday. So unfortunately, we don't have Eric for prop bets, but I did look some up while we were watching Sophistication Station. So I'm going to bring you some prop bets here from covers.com, so you can check them out there as well. CJ in the Chargers-Texans game, we got CJ Stroud under 231 passing yards. I like that. Justin Herbert's over 1.5 passing TDs. And they like Ladd McConkey today, 75-plus receiving yards, as well as anytime TD for Ladd McConkey and for Joe Mixon. So those were that one. Steelers versus Ravens, Rashad Bateman over 43.5 receiving yards. Rashad Bateman, most receiving yards in the game, actually, as well. It's a prop bet. Justice Hill over 8.5 rushing yards. Not many to get for that prop bet. For this anytime TD, Pat Freiermuth and Mark Andrews for both teams. So that's their TD bets there. Broncos versus Bills. Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns. A little surprised about that. But they also have Bo Nix as over 0.5 interceptions. So basically, he gets a pick. You win that bet. Khalil Shakir under 5.5 receptions. We know the Bills' receiving core is crap, so that makes sense to me as well with that one. Let's go to Packers versus Eagles. Jordan Love under 31.5 passing attempts. Josh Jacobs with an anytime TD. And Jalen Hurts under 0.5 receptions. So just to check those out. A little too early for the other game. But those are the prop bets from covers.com. So make sure you go check them out. Some decent prop bets there. All right, well, let's get to it. It's time to make our wild card picks.
We're on a mission, guys. We're on a mission, guys.
All right, well, here we go. Let's see how we close the season out. And ooh-wee, Fred coming in strong last week.
Damn.
14-2. That's the way you close the season out. LeDuc 12-4. I went 11-5. So did the Juice. And our boy, Justin, ooh-wee, just not been your year this year, but you had to go for it all, and you missed. 7-9 for last week. So to close the season, the regular season, 192-80, LeDuc 189. We got the Smothers Brothers in the middle of 184. And Justin bringing up the rear, unfortunately. So I did make this graphic this morning just to give myself a little toot the king.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
When it comes to the picks. Feels good. All right, let's get I got to win something. I didn't win shit this year, so it's nice to win. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about today's games. And, of course, Sunday and Monday as well. We'll get to Chargers at Texans. Wasn't a lot to talk about, like, history-wise. Chargers lead the series 6-3, and this is their first ever meeting in the playoffs. So that's an interesting setup for this game. As we said, it's in the Dome, so nothing too crazy. But, Justin, give us your winner and why.
I'm going to go with the Chargers. It's all about momentum. Houston's momentum is literally getting their ass kicked by Baltimore and then beating Tennessee in a game that seemed a little bit closer than it should have been. On the other side, the Chargers have just been kind of picking up steam and picking up electricity, mind the pun. But, yeah, so I think it's really going to be a difference between coaching at this point. I think Jim Harbaugh knows how to win in the playoffs, and he knows how to keep his team focused. And I think D'Amico's kind of fallen because CJ's kind of fallen himself. So I think I'm going to go Chargers.
I like it. Greg, who you like?
I went with Chargers too, man. And just look at the difference coaching makes, right? Harbaugh comes in, they make the playoffs. Herbert is back on that trajectory of being the superstar quarterback. They bring in J.K. Dobbins. They draft well. And the Texans just seemed off this season, right? CJ's was off. They have all these injuries at wide receiver. Diggs gets hurt. Dell gets hurt. Nico got hurt some point during the season. So it was all off for the Texans. And I think it just carries over in the playoffs. And Harbaugh, like Justin said, he's showing that he's a great coach, a good coach. So I'll pick the Chargers. They're going to run that ball, play action with Justin Herbert, and bring it home.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head a few times, both of you. But that last statement is correct because I feel like this Chargers team really was built for playoff football, and it's good. You know, it's nice to see. I think Harbaugh gets it, and not to downplay the Texans too much because they were good last year. But CJ Stroud definitely in a bit of a sophomore slump. The Chargers defense is on the rise for sure, and the Texans offense has been struggling all season long. We all agree we're going to hammer it down. We all like the Chargers in the matchup. All right, let's go to the next one. The Steelers at the Ravens. Steelers lead the series 36-26. They split the series this season 1-1. Steelers actually lead the playoff series 3-1. Last time they played was in 2015. Baltimore won the AFC wildcard game 30-15. Then we know these teams have a nice rich history. But who wins this today, Greg?
Listen, this is Lamar Jackson's show. He's been killing it all season. He got the monkey off his back when he beat Pittsburgh last game. If they keep to the same formula, run the ball with Derrick Henry, Lamar plays like Lamar. Don't try to be nothing else but be Lamar. The Ravens are going to pull this out. Pittsburgh has nothing on offense, like nothing going on offense. They don't know who they want their quarterback to be at this point. I know Tomlin is a great coach, but come on, Lamar over 4,000 yards passing, almost 900 yards rushing. The Ravens got to pull this out. So I'm going with the Ravens.
Justin, who do you like?
Yeah, I completely agree with just about everything Greg said in the sense that, all the way down to the whole point where Tomlin's pulling a normal Tomlin season where he looks great in the middle of the season. We start talking about him, and then we slowly start to go, oh, there's the problem. There's the problem. There's the problem. And it's coming out. It's glaring. And with Baltimore, it's been kind of just like slowly progressing upwards. Like they have really kind of started to set fire to their kindling, and they're getting out there, and they're starting to smash teams, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, not but a couple weeks back. So I'm gonna go with that. One interesting little caveat to this game: it's a 9.5 point spread. These games don't tend to go that way; they tend to stay close. But if you look at the last game by 17 point shellacking, you could be tempted to go with that 9.5 spread.
Yeah, I forgot to put the spreads on there today. I guess I got in playoff mode and forgot. But I do like everything you guys are saying is absolutely correct. I feel like the two Saturday games almost mirror each other, where I feel like both teams are going on different trajectories in the same respect. Ravens defense is stepping up. We already knew their offense was good, so that just goes without saying. But their defense has stepped up as of late, where the Steelers defense is declining, the offense is declining. That's not a good feel when you're going into the playoffs. And we all agree with this one. We all hammer down the Ravens in this particular.
Harbaugh brothers, man. Harbaugh brothers. Oof.
Saying, man, they doing their thing for sure. All right, let's get on to Broncos at the Bills. The Bills lead the overall series 23-17-1. Bills lead the playoff series 1-0-1, believe it or not. Last time, I'm sorry, 1-0. That was my fault. That was the one was
no tying in the playoffs.
It was the one from 1992. I was about to say, apparently carried up a line. The last time they played was in 1992 AFC Championship game, and the Bills won 10-7. Wow, I don't think we're going to see that today. Who wins this one today, Justin, and why?
This one was a tough one for me. I like Josh Allen a lot, but Sean Payton, just like Jim Harbaugh, has this team playing freaking amazing. I stuck with the Bills because I just think that, there's no way that, in my mind, there's no way Josh Allen goes out like this. Like, I think this has to be a deep run. Lamar or Patrick Mahomes has to get Josh Allen out. But I was really tempted to just say, fuck it, keep my strategy going and go with the Broncos. But I went with the Bills.
Greg, who you like?
Justin, man, listen, it was tough for me too, because that Broncos defense, like Jason said earlier about Chargers built for the playoffs. That Broncos defense is built for the playoffs. You got Patrick Surtain, they got pass rushers, but Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen today, I think, man. So I think even as good as that Broncos defense is going to be, I think Josh Allen finds a way to pull it out. It's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's going to be Josh Allen and the Bills pull it out today.
So there's always fun storylines in the NFL, and I feel like the Broncos is one of them right now. A lot of people are saying the same thing. This could be a close game. I actually totally disagree. I think the Bills are going to trounce them today. Quite frankly, I just don't think they have enough. And it's just, come on. We've watched these playoffs many times. There's always that one team that were like, they could give them. And then all of a sudden that team that was really good showed why they were really good. And I think that's going to be one of them games today. We all agree, though, at least on the winner. Bills will hammer this stuff out, although the boys think this is going to be close, but I don't agree at all. I think the Bills are going to trounce their ass. All right, let's go Packers at Eagles. Packers lead the overall series 28-19. Eagles won in first week of the season. I think it was either Monday night or Sunday night. I know it was a night game.
Brazil. Yeah.
Oh, the Brazil. There
Friday
you go.
night game. It was the Friday night game.
That's right. There we go. I knew it was some kind of night thing. They won 34-29. Eagles, they played 3 times in the playoffs. Eagles lead that 2-1. Last time was in 2011. The Packers won the NFC wild card 21-16. Greg, who wins Sunday, and why?
Eagles, man. This is lining up so great for them in the NFC playoffs. They're getting Hurst back. They're getting their quarterback back. Jordan Love is dealing with an elbow injury, so we don't know how well is he going to play. I know they're going to probably lean on Josh Jacobs, but all this green is going to be the Eagles, man. Saquon in the playoffs, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, all the names, the defense, I got to go with the Eagles.
Well, you know, they say that the Super Bowl logo colors always match the teams. Well, it is red and green the last time I saw, so could be Chiefs Eagles. Never know. What do you think, Justin? Who wins this one and why?
Jeez, I just want to puke when you say Chiefs Eagles. Fucking somebody find the magic voodoo that Andy Reid found to make his team good forever. Jesus Christ. It's coaching. It's coaching. Yeah, it's coaching. But anyways, I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one. I've been betting against them all year long. I can't take it this time. Jordan Love is not looking so good at the end of the season, like he did last year, kind of. But I mean, he picked it up last year, went into the playoffs strong. He's just not going in this strong. And the Eagles' defense has been progressively getting more and more and more like a juggernaut, where you're like, holy shoot. Like, where was this at the beginning of the season? I would have loved to have picked them more if I knew this was the team I was picking. But, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts coming back. I think he has a spectacular game. And, just like Greg said, think about the Saquon, Brown, Goddard, Smith. He's got so much to feed there. I think it's just going to be – I think this is going to be the trouncing. I think the Eagles are going to trounce the Packers in this game.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think, unfortunately for the Packers, a lot of their offense predicated through the run. And we know this is not the same Eagles defense they faced the first week of the season. So I think they're going to have a hard time trying to run the football against this team, which is going to cause problems with them in the passing game. So I agree with you. I like the Eagles, but we don't hammer this. And unfortunately, he's not here to tell us why. We got a lone wolf on this one. Fred likes the Packers in this matchup. Unfortunately, not here to give us his analysis on why, but let's give it to him.
To hear this.
Wolf for this particular matchup. That's kind of, I don't know, I'm a little surprised by that. I don't know. It might be, his son is dating. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Commanders at Bucks. Getting my Bays wrong. Series is tied 13-13. Crazy enough. They also played week 1, and the Bucks won 37-30. The Bucks lead the playoff series as well. They lead 2-1. Last time they met in the playoffs, it was 2006. It was the NFC wild card, and the Bucks won 17-10. So, Greg, who wins this and why?
Listen, come on, Coop. Come on. My dream Super Bowl this year would be Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl. Listen, he's a rookie. He's not playing like a rookie. Cliff Kingsbury got that offense clicking. Come on. Commanders, even though the Bucks, they got a great offense on that side. Baker's been playing well. Bucky Irvin, Michael Evans. But I see the burgundy and gold, baby, taking us to those pearly road to the Super Bowl. Let's go, Jaden McDaniels.
Get your Zatarain out. Head to New Orleans, Washington. What do you think, Justin? Who wins?
I don't know if you could hear my dog. She was barking the entire time OJ was giving his speech because she agreed. She's a Commanders fan herself. She's over there saying, yeah, let's go home team.
Let's go.
But I'm going to stick with the Commanders in this one. I think they're just coming in with a little bit more heat to them. The Bucs have been playing some shit teams and getting away with some things. I mean, they probably shouldn't have won last week, but they got away with it. And I think the ride is just it's gonna hit the wall at some point. And I think that even though it's a home field advantage for the Bucs, I don't think Jaden Daniels cares. I think that's the biggest thing. He doesn't care. He's too young to care what home field advantage means. So, it's like one of those things where they say, you don't know what you don't know. Jaden Daniels doesn't know he's supposed to lose this game.
This will probably be the most fun to watch, I feel, over all these games this week. I'm going to go Bucks, and I'm just going to reveal something real quick. Last week when we were watching the games, my son and I were here watching. He got up to go to his room for something, and of course he missed the ending of the Bucks game where Mike Evans, gets his record. And I got so teary-eyed over that. Like, I literally went to knock on his door to tell him, and I had to stop because I started getting the so
Jason.
It was just, to me, such emotional. Like, it was so cool to see that moment, to not only for him to get the record. They're chanting his name before it, the whole stadium. They closed the game out with that play. Everyone's celebrating. The clock's going down. I just thought it was a really cool moment. I really like this Bucs team, and I like Baker Mayfield a lot too as well. So I'm going to hit the Bucs up. Although, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington won. It's going to go back and forth.
Can I throw this a little thing in there? Anybody who's doubting that Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, you're an idiot, and I'd never want to take your advice in football. This guy broke Jerry Rice's record. Nobody breaks a Jerry Rice record. You don't break Jerry Rice records and not go in the Hall of Fame. Calvin Johnson never sniffed I think he maybe had one playoff win. He broke a Jerry Rice record. Guess what? He goes in the Hall of Fame. You're going to tell me this guy has excellent success for 9+ years, his entire career, 1,000 yards. You're going to put him in the Hall of Fame? I never want to hear from you ever again if you speak that.
I don't see how he's not first ballot. My bad. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm going to say fuck Mike Evans because he fucked up my parlay last week. I thought they were going to feed him the goddamn rock. I needed 4 more yards, and he stops after getting 5. Fuck Mike Evans.
He got that record. He wasn't worried about your parlay, bro.
Yeah, fuck my parlay.
I think that's what he muttered to the TV afterwards when they zoomed in on his face. They said, "Fuck Garrick's parlay."
Yeah, he did.
I
read it. That's why I picked the Bucs.
All right, let's go finish it out. Monday night, game moved to Arizona. Vikings at the Rams. The Vikings lead the overall series 27-19-2. Rams, they played this year in week 7. It was on Monday Night Football, and the Rams won 30-20. Vikings lead the playoff series 5-2. Last time they played was in 2000. The Rams won the divisional game 49-37. I think that was the greatest show on turf era as well. All right, so Justin, who wins this one and why?
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think the Vikings, this is one of those games where they need to get themselves completely right, and they just need to fix the formula. The formula is feed Justin Jefferson, feed Jordan Addison, and get Aaron Jones, get Cam Edwards or Akers in there as much as possible. Just they need to have this total retool and say, you know what, this is who we are, guys. We're here to make it to the playoffs. We didn't fucking have this amazing season just to get kicked out by the lousy, dirty, filthy LA Rams that have no right to even be there because they're just in a shit division right now. And yeah, I'm calling my division shit. But yeah, I think they need to go out there and show Matthew Stafford for who he truly is, the interception machine that he truly is his entire career. Brett Favre reincarnated, only wins 1 Super Bowl and has more than 400 interceptions. That's your destiny, Matthew Stafford, because no, I'm just kidding. All in all, I think the Vikings are just going to take this game. I think it's going to be a really close game because the first one was really damn close, and I respect Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. Those guys are good. But I do think the Vikings will come through in this game and make it to the second round.
Some personal feelings coming out today on the analysis. Greg, who do you think wins this and why?
Damn, Justin, I feel for you, dog. Like, what did the Rams do to you except bust your ass?
They breathe. They breathe.
This was a tough game for me to choose too, because Stafford's been balling. Puka's been balling. You got Kyron Williams. This is not going to be an easy game for the Vikings at all. And the way Sam Darnold played the last game of the season got me shook. But I still went with the Vikings. They have too many weapons. Sam Darnold, majority of the season, has been playing well. They got the home field advantage. Go Skull or whatever they yell out there in Minnesota. Big purple people eaters. Let's go, Minnesota. I think they got it, but I think it's going to be this game. I think is going to be a close ass game, but I'm going to go with the Vikings.
So I also went with the Vikings, but I will say last week, as you mentioned, Greg, your analysis is spot on because I was sitting there watching the Vikings Rams and it was the pregame and the look in Sam Darnold's face. I could have told you right then and there, and that's exactly what I said, that he's seeing ghost again. The way, so maybe I talked about this earlier this week. There are players who play and are good in practice, and there's players that play good in games, and then there's players that step up in big moments, and there's players that falter in those situations as well. And I kind of get that feel that Sam Darnold might be that guy that when the moment gets big, it gets to be a little too much. But he's got a chance to obviously put that aside during this playoff run. But I did go with the Vikings, but I was definitely teeter-tottering on the Rams. We do have another lone wolf, Fred, again, going with the Rams, going with the gut instinct. Well, so he likes the Rams in this matchup. I don't blame him, quite honestly. Like I said, this could be one of those games where he's seeing ghosts a little too early, and it's going to be trouble for Minnesota, especially if the Rams start getting hot offensively. So that's my take on it. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on Wild Card Weekend. And I know, of course, it's not Sunday, so you don't need to go to church yet, but we still have provided church for you on Saturday. Fantasy Jesus is here. He's going to bless your DFS rosters, so let's check it out.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters. Good morning, TSS family. And if you're like me, you're ready to rise to the occasion in the playoffs and get your DFS lineups in. And let's get it started this week with Jaden Daniels. I love the matchup. He is far and away a different quarterback from the rookie who started his first start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that Buccaneers team is far and away different from the defense that started off the season. Look for Jaden Daniels to have an impressive first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and win you some money this week. Then we're going to go to his backmate, his running back, Brian Robinson, who had a really good game the first time around against the Bucs. He's been kind of lacking in the production realm, but I imagine this is a get-right game for him. I mean, damn, Carolina made Miles Sanders look good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why can't Brian Robinson do it? Then let's go to the receiver. I'm liking Puka Nacua this week. It's a real easy bet. Puka Nacua, since coming back against the Vikings, has been on an absolute tear. And I just think that this is the perfect week for him, with all the troubles that are going on in Los Angeles, to come and join the Los Angeles Rams and make them say Puka Nacua 3 times and have him go absolutely apeshit on the Minnesota Vikings defense. Put him in your lineup. Next up, we got Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely has had 2 great games against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I look for it to be 3 with Zay Flowers out this week. He's going to be a great bet this week. And then finally, we're going to finish it off, with the Los Angeles Chargers going to Houston and shocking the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud has not been who we thought he was. Joe Mixon has fallen off in the playoffs for your fantasy teams. And overall, the Los Angeles defense has been better than expected. Plug them in, look for a great game for them, and look for the Los Angeles Chargers to win you some money and advance in the playoffs. That was 5 DFS picks from your fantasy Jesus. May your lineups be blessed.
I'm not sure who to start this week. Trust in your Savior.
Trust in your Savior, indeed. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this wild card edition of Wake Up with TSS Fantasy. Join us next week. We'll break down the divisional games on Sunday morning. And then don't forget Super Bowl morning. You want to check out our Super Bowl special. Lots of great fun, lots of great guests. We're going to break down, of course, the whole game, give you some DFS plays for the Sunday. We got all kind of good stuff set up for you, what to eat, how to set up your TV. I mean, we got it all. So make sure you check us out on Sunday morning, Super Bowl morning. Like I was talking about earlier this week, man, that Super Bowl is on so late in the day. Put the Pro Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday morning, so we at least have something. But since you don't have that, we're here. We're going to get you pumped up and ready, get you everything you need to know. That way you can just go out and do whatever you want and come back to the Super Bowl. We'll be ready to rock with you. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much. Don't forget to join us next Sunday. We appreciate all of you, and we are out.